welcome to the Extra Pass podcast presented by Melbourne United. I'm your host, Ben Hopkins, joined as always by my co-host, NCAA national champion, Adam Ballinger. Balls, how are you?
Hello, Benjamin. How are you this afternoon?
Oh, I'm terrific, mate. You know, I'm just living the dream. There's not a place I would rather be than here with you, except if maybe we had a different guest today. We've got someone that's definitively not a national champion. It's Jack White. How are you, Jack?
Yeah, do you know what's better than being a national champion, Ben?
NBL champion?
Well, yes.
Yeah.
But as the NBA say, world champion.
Yeah, world champion.
Which is
world champion.
Yeah.
Which is definitely debatable in my book. I feel like it takes away credit from the World Cup and Olympics.
That's one of the first things when I came over here that they made fun of Americans about, or me. Like everyone says world champion.
I mean,
you don't
North
play.
American champion.
You don't play the
you have like
world.
the best players in the world, right?
Yeah.
But
You back
settle
then,
down.
Yeah.
Who do you think would take away that world championship from your Nuggets?
Australian national team.
Fair enough.
Good call.
I'll cop that.
Mm.
A lot of national teams probably.
You think so?
Yeah, a lot of national teams would probably beat. Oh, maybe not a lot.
I mean, maybe the US. Canada's pretty good.
Yeah.
Serbia's
Serbia.
pretty good.
Yeah.
Us. New Zealand, because I got Shea Ely.
Yeah. Your idol, I heard.
You heard. You should know this by now.
Well, I heard it from you.
He is my idol. I love Shea Ely.
That was a weird start to the episode.
He's a humble
Actual.
guy.
Yeah. Humble
He's the
guys.
best.
Very humble.
Someone who's not a humble guy, Jack White. Jack, how are you? It's good to have you back in Australia.
I'm good, man. It's been good to be back. I wish I had more time to, I guess, pick up where I left off and catch up with friends and family and all that. But it's been a lot of fun, man. I feel like I've been productive, back and forth between here in Melbourne, working out with you guys, which has been great. Definitely feel like this is my second home away from Traralgon, and obviously spending a lot of time in the country, catching up with friends and family back there. But yeah, man, it's been a pretty hectic time, but loved it.
Yeah, you've been gone for a while. Is it just a relief to get back and be able to? Obviously, you've been doing, as you said, a bit of back and forth to Traralgon. I guess is it just nice to sort of have some sort of normalcy where you can just see friends, see family, and just chill out for a bit?
Yeah, it's just refreshing, man. Like the whole past 12 months have just been a bit of a roller coaster, honestly. And with how things have ended up, obviously an extended season with the playoffs, and definitely no complaints about that. But the travel and free agency, I spent some time in Salt Lake City, then Vegas at Summer League, and getting accustomed with the new team and new teammates, meeting a million new faces. So that in itself just kind of takes it out of you and mentally drains you. But I was just looking forward, being back at home with family and seeing mum and dad and brother and sister, and a lot of friends I hadn't caught up with in over 12 months. And obviously there's no place like home. So just super happy to have the time now that I have at home.
Did you get a hero's welcome? I was asking Reese about this last week. Like, you'd be the number one athlete out of Traralgon's history.
Nah, Jade Melbourne. And I hope my agent Sammy listens to this. He also represents Jade. Jade's an absolute gun.
Well, do you have like a court and an NFT or anything like that in the plans?
No.
Not yet, because they got that new stadium up there. It's really nice.
Really nice stadium. I actually hadn't been in there till last week, till last Monday. I went there Monday again to watch my brother play. It is looking schmick. It's looking good.
I've been there a few times for rep, run camps and stuff there, and there's not one jersey. You don't have a jersey up there at all, do you?
No.
Surely they got to retire the 14.
I know. I mean, come on, like at least a jersey up when you walk in or something.
It's a lot of driving between here and Traralgon. Is there anything you've been listening to? Maybe a podcast, or music? What's the go?
I mean, I'm a big UK rap, UK drill guy. I've been dabbling in that for a good 2-3 years now. That's sort of my go-to. Bit of Joe Rogan, bit of Melbourne United podcast. Just to hear your voice, obviously.
What's the name of our podcast?
It's just a Melbourne United podcast. It's all I search up, and it's all that I need to search up. Is that a fair call?
It's close enough.
I guess. I mean, you are on our podcast. I would have liked if you knew what it was called. But obviously a lot of back and forth and getting here and getting involved in our open runs. Obviously some pretty well publicised ones with Jock and Giddy and Dyson and all the MU guys. What's it like to get into some super highly competitive and physical open runs while you're back here?
Man, it's been awesome. Like it's been exactly what I've needed, I guess, leading into camp, and especially coming off the season, having like a little bit of a break and then getting back into working out, and, you know, you add in the travel and being all over the place and everything else, like just coming back here and having that to sort of fall back on, and, you know, getting in a routine of working out, and, you know, United starting their preseason, everything like that, and being surrounded by guys I'm going to be going into camp with and whatnot. It's been really good. Been enjoying it. You know, these are guys that I haven't, you know, had the pleasure of, apart from Jock, I guess, like spending a lot of time on the court with and getting acclimated, you know, learning their games and whatnot. So this has been great for that. And obviously coming back and just seeing all the United boys has been awesome. You know, I love this club. I love everyone that's involved, and it's so cool that I can just come back and, you know, seamlessly just come right back in and sort of pick up how things left off. And no, man, it's been awesome.
Well, hopefully someone that you're going to be getting to spend a lot of time on an NBA court with is Josh. Obviously, you've signed with OKC for the coming season and for coming 2 seasons, I believe. But yeah, that's so exciting. And we're going to get into a bit about that, and obviously the championship season over in the NBA you've just gotten off the court with, but we'll get to that after the break.
Melbourne United memberships are on sale now. Lock in your seat for the most exciting show in Australian sport and guarantee you're there for every highlight across this next season. To find out more, go to membership.melbourneutd.com.au.
And we're back on the Extra Pass presented by Melbourne United with NBA champion Jack White. Is that sinking in yet, or is it still weird to hear NBA champion Jack White?
Yeah, it's weird. Like, obviously, to an extent, like, obviously I feel part of it and feel part of the team, and that was one of the great things about being a part of that team, was everyone was so inclusive, and no matter if you're Jokic or, you know, you're me on a 2-way contract, you definitely feel like you're a part of that group and you contribute in a certain way. But obviously, you know, as part of the 2-way contract gig, you know, you're not involved during the playoffs on the floor. So it was definitely a different experience. But in saying that, you know, I felt like kept the guys ready off the floor and, you know, had a good locker room presence, and tried to do whatever I could to help us be successful during that time. So, you know, I'll take it, you know.
Take us through. It's got to be, obviously you got to celebrate a championship here at United as well in the NBL, but take us through similarities, differences in the championship atmosphere after winning it at both levels.
Yeah, well, the NBL one back then was different. I think, you know, I was in the process of rehabbing my Achilles at the time, so I was pretty immobile during the celebrations and everything, and like couldn't really, I guess, celebrate in the best way, let's say. But, you know, just being around that group and knowing obviously what a lot of guys had sacrificed, you know, families being away from Melbourne, the travel, obviously everything with COVID and the restrictions and whatnot. You know, there was a lot that people sacrificed to be able to make that a reality, and just seeing how much it meant to the fellas was kind of what was most special for me. And that was kind of the thing that's most similar, I think, about both experiences is, you know, I have this vivid memory of, you know, there's like a minute or two left in the final game, and like Jeff, Ish, and DJ are just sitting on the bench like crying. And like these guys are like some of the best vets you could ever come across, like huge parts of why our locker room was so good and a huge part of why our camaraderie and everything like that. And I think it's, you know, that camaraderie and, you know, team togetherness is a big reason why, like Miami as well, were in the position they were in. You know, there's an NBA season is full of ups and downs, and if you have that to fall back on, I think it's a huge advantage. And, you know, just seeing how much it meant to them and knowing that, you know, how they went about things the right way for so long, and for them to finally be rewarded with this thing that they, you know, this was their ultimate goal, was special for someone like me, who was obviously fortunate to just, you know, find himself in that situation and have that experience in my first year. So yeah, like seeing their reactions and seeing how much it meant to different guys who had been through a lot in the league and in their career, you know, just made me appreciate the whole experience as a whole even more.
Now, also, you don't have to ring chase at the end of your career.
Yeah, I mean, no, I've got a few fingers to fill up, so we'll see about
I don't
that.
know. Like, you don't have to, yeah, you've already got that done. So in their 15-year career, you can just stick with one team, just be a hero.
Yeah, that wouldn't be bad.
Have you got the rings yet? People ask you about the ring?
Yeah, people ask me about the ring, but like the rings come at opening night of the following season.
Yeah.
And like I just have the same conversation with everyone. Like, I don't have it yet. Plus, I'm playing for a new team, so I guess I'll get it when we play them at Denver.
And
so yeah, months from now.
And they are like, they just get more and more ridiculous. I imagine I don't know how they wear them, but Do you think you'll ever actually wear the ring out?
No, it's
Like,
so
for real.
It's
Maybe on the
it's
chain?
not me. No, it's not me, bro.
Yeah, they like
It's not
open
me.
up and they have like carousels in the middle. I mean, like lights that
Well,
come on and
Did
everything.
you
No,
even
mate.
see after Luke Travers won the Summer League Championship? Shout out Luke Travers.
Shout
They
out.
got very ostentatious rings, like crazy rings.
I did see
Just
that.
for that, yeah.
They are looking good, but no, I could never.
It's a cool
If-
thing to have.
Just
I
roll
think,
around.
I think I'll send it back to Traralgon, honestly, because I'd
I
be
was
too
gonna
worried
say,
about.
you just roll around
They might-
Traralgon, just like, yeah, look at me.
I'm not that guy.
They might not even put it in the
Civilian.
gym. They might not even do anything with it. Just keep it.
Mum can have it.
Just add it to the jewelry.
Yeah.
What were the celebrations like? I know that's something that, you see a lot of guys go on podcasts afterwards and be like, oh, yeah, it was crazy. Joker was doing this and so-and-so were doing this. Is there anything that you can tell us that's PG rated, perhaps, that was just a bit about the celebrations and the craziness that followed?
Yeah, I mean, there's not really too much that's not PG, I guess. I mean, like straight after the game, we're in the locker room, cigars, champagne, beers, everything for like 3 or 4 hours. And yeah,
3 or 4 hours in the locker room.
Yeah, just in the locker room. And that champagne smell in the locker room is something else, man. And like, didn't go away for like at least 2 or 3 weeks. Disgusting. But yeah, like that was obviously a special time. I guess like guys didn't want to kind of leave that environment where we'd achieved what we set out to achieve. But from there, I guess kind of the next thing that was sort of significant was we had the parade on Thursday, and for a Thursday morning, there was like between 700 and 750,000 people that came out and like flooded the streets of Denver. And we're all sitting on like fire trucks, like just driving like 5Ks an hour for like 2 or 3 hours, just like drinking beers and like getting off and like embracing the crowd. Like it was nuts. And then you turn the corner and there's even more people. And then we get to like the final sort of stop. I can't remember what the actual name is, but like there's this big sort of square and kind of overlooking this big park, and it's just filled to the brim with people. It's like everyone we saw along the way just congregated there. And you're just sitting there. It was a beautiful day. And like during the week, it had been like raining and it just like was picturesque this day. It was just perfect. And so like, yeah, the parade was unreal. Like the speeches, obviously, which I'm sure you guys have probably seen, like unreal. Guys are, coach definitely did well. Joker did well, especially with his initial thoughts of the parade. Been saying that, initially they wanted to take us to Vegas on Saturday. The big fella didn't want to go because he wanted to get back for his horse race, obviously. So that night after the parade, like 3 hours after the parade was done, and the guys are like rinsed, having a good time, right? It's championship parade. We make it out to the airport, fly to Vegas on a PJ, our owner's private jet. Absolute champ of a bloke, Josh. And then we go to dinner at Hakkasan. We have a great dinner. It's like a whole group, great food, drinks, everything like that. And then they have like a club there at Hakkasan. So like we go upstairs and they have this whole thing like set up for us. And I'm going to be honest, man, it was kind of weird because we walk in like NBA champion Denver Nuggets, and we walk in and like it was literally like a crowd of like NPCs in there just like staring at us. Like, bro, there's no better way to put it. And like they like escort us up to this like stage next to the DJ booth or whatever. We have like tables, like it's all set up. And it's like you look out and every single person in the club is just like sitting there just fixated, like staring. I'm like, yo, like what is going on, bro? This is weird. And it's like you want to like drink to have a good time, but it's like, bro, I can't like have a good time. Like I feel like I'm just being stared at the whole time. And like, granted, they're definitely not looking at me. Like no one could care what I was doing. They're definitely just looking at Yoke and Jamal and like this, that, and the other.
No, I was going to say, what was it like to hear 700,000 people chant Jack White, Jack White? Because that's all I heard the chants were on
that's
the
all you
parade.
heard?
Yeah.
I think you might have selective hearing, Benny.
Hometown hearing. Just a couple of champions here talking. Have you ever won a championship, Ben?
Well, I went back to back Wednesday night.
No, those
Yeah, I
are
was going to say, I
basketball
already
rings.
knew about this.
Yeah, I
This
went
is not
back to
news to
back.
me.
But seriously,
Shout out the fundamentals if any of
best-
you are listening.
the best part of what I found was, you have a team, you go through a whole year, the ups and downs of a year, and then no matter what, you win a championship. as you know now, like the team's going to change. So no matter how good the team was, you'll never be with those guys again in that situation. And the best time of after the championship, you get off the court, make it into the locker room. And like you said, you were there for 3 or 4 hours. But there's only that little bit of time where it's only you. Like the coaches are there. No media's been let in yet. It's just the team, the managers, and you're all celebrating and close. And for me, I found that was like the best moment of the whole thing. And then, once those doors open, once, the parade starts, all that, then it's all changed. Like everybody's moving on. But the best part of winning those, I thought, was definitely just getting in the locker room and just, everybody's kind of minds are blown. Like we actually did it. We're here. And 3 or 4 hours. We had like 15 minutes. 3 or 4 hours would have been pretty cool.
Yeah. But no, I definitely feel you with that because I think the, removing like all the outside noise, media, coaches, and it's just like, the players and like, it's like the staff members are like, they're rebounding for you and like guys you really have that connection with and you don't have to worry about like anyone else watching. It's just you boys like really just having a quiet moment to reflect on it. Because it's a long season, man. Like guys are away from their families a lot and like, I can only imagine like the sacrifices and, everything like kids, man, like it's crazy. And guys have been doing it for such a long time. And even for like someone like me, like coming in as a rookie, like how these guys embrace me and the other rookies and, guys that are traded mid-season like Reggie and TB and like how they're brought in and like how they embrace me. Like it's just like ticking boxes across the board. And so to like really reflect and like I think is important because you need that. Because as you said, like everyone kind of goes their separate ways very quickly after the season. Everyone's looking for a break because the season finishes at the start of June, and then it's a World Cup year. Like guys need their rest. Guys are getting traded, this, that, and the other. So I think like having that parade, having that time in Vegas, having that time in the locker room, are all like they're probably like the best moments that guys aren't going to forget just because like they're probably the purest moments of just the group and the team.
Yeah. And as Ball's touched on, there's always player movement. There's always, a sense that team isn't going to remain together. Obviously, you've since moved on to OKC, signing there, a new opportunity for you. Take us through the excitement and I guess that process, if you can shine a little bit of light on what it's like to go from an NBA champion, to go from a two-way spot where you were back and forth to now joining on with the Thunder and, your teammate out on the court for some of these open runs, Josh Giddey.
Yeah, man, it's been a bit of a roller coaster experience going through like NBA free agency for the first time. In saying that, I couldn't be happier with how it worked out. I'm super excited for the opportunity at OKC, especially for an opportunity to play and be a part of a super exciting young group. And like similar to Denver in a way where the emphasis on culture's at a really high level and, even, spending a week and a half with the group between Salt Lake City and Vegas, like I feel that. And that's a cool thing. And so, yeah, I'm super excited getting settled in and getting to training camp and, obviously spending time with Josh here and playing with Josh. And knowing Josh has been, a super enjoyable part of this transition and like having a familiar face and everything like that. But, being a part of two-way, I felt like I had a really good individual year and I felt like I'd kind of proved that I was an NBA player and deserved that opportunity and, for them to, I kind of guess reinforce that and, put their money where their mouth is without a better, way of putting it was a special feeling for me and like a goal that I definitely dreamt of achieving since I was a little kid. And, for them giving me that, I can't be more grateful and I'm just super excited to get to work. And I feel like, there's still plenty of work for me to do, still plenty for me to prove. So yeah, just really looking forward to getting stuck in and getting started in OKC.
And getting back here, obviously you've spent a fair bit of time on the court at Hoop City and with a lot of United's guys. Can you give us your thoughts on this group that we're putting together? Obviously, it's a pretty similar group to last time you were here. Obviously, LT in a similar spot to you. Can you take us through, I guess, your excitement to see how United's going to do this upcoming season?
Yeah, mate, I'm super pumped. I think first and foremost, you just touched on LT. Like I've been a big fan of LT for a long time. Like super young, versatile, talented player. Has only been getting better and better. Can affect the game on both ends. And, I felt like he did a really good job of showing that during Summer League and was probably unlucky not to come away with a two-way contract from the Cavs because how he affects the game. And that's kind of what I felt like I did a good job of when I played Summer League last year. You know, you're not going out there trying to score 20 points a game. Like teams have that. It's like, how can you play a role? Like, how can you be effective off the ball and make your superstars' lives easier? And I feel like Luke does that. So I feel like he was definitely a bit hard done by, but I'm a big fan of Luke, and it's been awesome, you know, spending time with him here in Melbourne and seeing him settle in and get more comfortable as the days have gone by, and just get over the jet lag from the travel. But another one like super excited for is Big A coming back from the Achilles. Obviously, you know, we were teammates for a bit, and then I got a soft spot for him. Obviously, seeing him go down with the Achilles and trying to help him out with keeping him in a good headspace, because I know just how difficult it can be, and especially for him, like he's been pretty unfortunate with a couple, I guess, like major injuries so far in his career in his lower body, and this one's, you know, not an easy one to handle, to say the least. But just seeing how he's come back, man, has been unbelievable, and it just makes me, mate, he's unreal. He's smashed it, and I think, like, you know, obviously everyone at Hoop City Physio with Steve and Nick and everything going through it with me, then for them to just kind of be able to, you know, flow on from that and help him in the same way and kind of have a good timeline, because, you know, mine fortunately went pretty well, and, you know, you can see with Ariel, like everyone sees it, like, man, he's moving great, he's in good spirits, and, you know, just his personality is one that lifts the room up. So it's a great thing for the club. And like Tanner coming in, I don't think I've seen Tanner miss a shot in 2 weeks. But like, I've played with Tanner for years since we were teenagers. Love Tanner, great guy. I think he's going to be great for the culture and the team. And then you talk about, you know, guys we got coming back, like Barlow's still being involved with coaching at the club. You got CG, Shilly, Newells, Joe coming back. I mean, like, I could go on and on. I'm just drawing blanks, but man, it just feels like coming back to home. You know, there's so many familiar faces, and just super excited to see what the team can do, and especially getting the big fella Joe healthy again. But you can already see, like, just in, I guess, my time here for the 2 weeks, just seeing small progressions he's making is super exciting. And yeah, man, I'm super excited to follow again.
Yeah, and I'm excited for our next segment that's going to come up after this break, because it's going to be Fast Five with Balls. And I know he's got some hairy ones for you, because just from knowing Balls, he's not the biggest Duke fan ever. So he might try to throw you under the bus with some of these. But we're going to go to a quick break and then come back with Fast Five with Balls.
Want to stay up to date with everything happening in Melbourne United? Download the Melbourne United app today. Filled with videos, audio and articles about your favourite team. It's the one-stop shop for everything Melbourne United. Download the Melbourne United app via the App Store on iOS or the Google Play Store on Android.
And we're back on the Extra Pass podcast presented by Melbourne United, and it's time for Fast Five with Balls.
Ready?
This is Fast Five with Balls.
Been waiting for this the whole time. Now we're on to the fun stuff. Yeah, they're hard hitting, so I hope you're ready.
Let's get straight into it. Okay, Jack. So the first time we met was your last year with Melbourne United. My first year that I started working here at a game. I didn't know you. I don't think you knew me. And
everyone knows you.
I knew you.
Superstar in the league.
Come on, mate.
Anyways,
Give yourself some credit.
you were walking down the tunnel. It was after a game. I think it was after a loss. And just walking by, I wanted to say hi, just shake your hand, and just introduce myself. And I went with a fist bump. This is COVID time, so no one really knows what to do. Fist bump, like elbows or handshake.
The old elbow. I don't miss the old elbow.
I had my fist out there, and you rejected it. You said no. You didn't say anything, but I could just tell your fist bump wasn't your thing. And then you want a handshake, so
Yes.
which I was impressed with. And I just want to know, what is that, your small town polite upbringing, or you hate fist bumps?
I don't hate fist bumps at all. Funnily enough, probably during that time, I probably just had COVID. So it probably felt like I was in that immunity window and just thought I was unstoppable. Yeah. And I was like, yeah, like, you're with me here on this one, Balls.
Shaking everyone's hand.
Yeah, I try to be a proper gent.
You only get so many chances to shake Adam Ballinger's hand.
That's what I'm saying, man. And first time meeting him, I'm like, I can't just fist bump the man himself.
I didn't want you to walk by without being able to shake my hand. So
You're a great man. Appreciate that.
Okay, your Achilles injury. Been
Good
a lot of
times.
talk about that. You probably don't want to visit that again. But like we were talking, like, you only had this whole year probably a week off from basketball with all the stuff you're doing. But back then, you know, you get an injury, you're away from the game, or you physically actually can't play the game. So what did you in your downtime? Did you develop any new hobbies? What would you occupy your mind with back then?
I wouldn't say I developed any new hobbies. I would say I spent the majority of time playing video games. I'm a big video game guy.
So those are your hobbies. I guess that's not new though. Yeah.
So big video game guy, and especially moving and traveling and like being away from friends and family, I find that to be a great way to kind of do an activity and stay in touch with friends, as opposed to just hopping on FaceTime here and there. And especially with my brother, like we love playing video games, and I'll probably go back this afternoon and smash some Rocket League and do all that stuff.
Rocket League, nice.
Yeah,
You got
great
what are your games? Like what are you playing now? What are your favorite games?
Rocket League, Fortnite. Back when I was hurt with the Achilles, I was playing a lot of like Assassin's Creed and like Red Dead Redemption, like these kind of like long
Old
story
school,
games. Yeah, like getting after it.
Online, or are you playing like you trying to beat the how's that story mode?
I was playing story modes.
Yeah, nice. Old school.
But then other than video games, man, I kind of got like super into like recovery and like diet and like getting into
that was my other question.
Like getting into a really good like routine of.
Do you have any other interests but like basketball and gym?
But like one of the things that helped me the most with the recovery, and obviously it's a physical injury, but like the mental part of it's kind of the most challenging, and you're wondering whether you're ever going to come back and be the same player you were. Especially for me, like I took great pride in taking care of my body and being athletic and spending time in the gym and stuff. So like definitely had those, I guess, internal struggles whether I'd get back. But we actually had so my mate Sam, who used to live at the house with, shout out Sam Shanley, he had a border collie, or still has border collie George, and me and this dog George, like all the boys would go to work and I'd just be sat at home, like we'd leg up on an elevated surface, like playing video games, and it'd just be me and George hanging out. And he's just like the biggest goofball, and we're just like, you couldn't help but smile around George. So
shout out George.
Shout out George, absolute champ.
Listening.
Yeah.
Yeah. Good answer. So your main hobby would be video games right now.
Yeah, video games. I like music. I want to get into reading more.
Yeah, reading stuff. It's reading. I used to read too. With a phone in your hand, it's hard to get past that to start reading.
But like TV show, I like watching TV shows. Probably not as much movies anymore. Probably a big TV show. Lincoln Lawyer's one I'd definitely recommend.
I've read the book.
The TV show.
TV show. Yeah.
I've seen the movie, not the TV show.
TV show is great.
I read the book, so I got all you guys shamed right now. All right. Next, we're moving on. This is Fast Five. We got to keep going.
Right, sorry.
Yeah. Okay, so you got the Duke thing. We haven't talked much about Duke, but I would imagine, you're tired of talking about
Big
Duke.
Duke
You're
guy,
tired of talking about all the guys you played with,
Yeah.
and Coach K especially. But for the listeners, and we got to give them what they want. So I'd rather talk to you about your first CD you bought, but I gotta ask you this. But so I played at Michigan State. We played a lot of games against Duke, and Coach K was always kind of an enigma. But what I always heard from players is that in practice he's crazy, like he's on you, he's yelling, he's screaming, it's tons of pressure, and you're practicing hard. But in games, he kind of switched to took a step back, and it looked like they were all playing with tons of confidence. Is that true, or what was it? In games, he doesn't look to be as much. He's not going at his own players. I'm sure he's going at refs and stuff like that. But is that true, or is that way off?
No, I would definitely say that's definitely more the case. In practice, like we actually got this out of him at our senior dinner, me, Javin, and Justin Robinson, that he would premeditate kicking us out of practice, no matter how well we were practicing.
Every practice?
Not every practice, but like certain practices. Like we had a
yes.
big game. Like I remember one. It was before we played Virginia, and Virginia. I think this might have been the year that they won the chip, and he claims that we were like BS or whatever. Like we were like practicing great, and we full on told him we're like bro, we ain't leaving. Like what are you doing? Like we got this huge game. Like we're trying to practice and like working our stuff. And then he was like, oh, like, and he left, and we're like, yeah, like got to the point we're like, yeah, like whatever, man, like get out.
Well, you nearly fell into a Coach K impersonation there. I was so excited.
You got to pay money for that.
Oh, okay.
But no, I would definitely say, like during the game, it definitely depends who you are and like what kind of leash you're on, and especially for me, like I'd play with a bunch of one and done guys and guys super talented and kind of have a bit of a longer leash. But for me, I feel like that's the case, like compared to practice, but it's definitely tough to, for me, I feel like the mental aspect of the game is something that I've kind of improved on, and even going through those experiences with like an injury and like not playing and kind of, finding your way to, find out how to be successful coming out of those situations has helped me deal with different adversities now. But yeah, like back in that moment, yeah, like definitely struggled to, I guess navigate that and how to be the best version of myself in that sort of environment when I was younger.
Yeah, it's a tough environment. That high level basketball in college is can be rough.
Mm-hmm.
I remember getting kicked out. Like Izzo would kick us out too, and like he had it playing. Like it's basically written into practice plan. All right, yell at him here. I mean,
it feels like it, man. Like
yeah.
After your freshman year and you have a bit more reps and you're like, look, man, like I ain't stupid, bro. Like,
but he'd kick us out, and then we have to come back. That was the worst part about it. He's like, kick you out, go eat together, and then come back. We'll start practice again. I was like, oh my god. But yeah, those are. I hear you on that.
Because we'd be sitting there, it's like, look, man, I know you don't want to do this.
But he does.
Yeah, but
I think they do.
Like, what is wrong with you, bro? Go home.
Yeah, no, they don't. No one wants to go home.
Get George, man. Get a dog,
Get
man.
a dog. No, they don't like going home.
Yes.
Okay, all right, moving on again.
Just quickly, Balls. I do need to point out.
Please drop in.
I wasn't sure if Jack was aware, but we discovered in the office there was a video circulating of the year that Duke got knocked out in the Elite Eight by Michigan State, one of your years.
Yeah.
Balls, passionate Michigan State man, kept his two sons at home from school, watched it, celebrated like a madman, collected both of his sons in his arms, and started. What was the chant? What chant?
We hate Duke. We hate Duke.
Oh, that's fine, man. I just remember ruining Draymond Green's jersey retirement at Michigan State.
Oh yeah, did you beat him there? Yeah. Well, I mean, I didn't know you then. If I knew you back then, I probably wouldn't have been so vocal with my hate of Duke. But
no,
Duke,
that's fine. I got a love-hate relationship with Duke. It's fine.
Duke is like it's the school. Like if you went there, obviously you played there or whatever.
Everyone hates Duke if you don't go to Duke.
Yeah, no, but then there's some people that don't, and they're like, I'm a Duke person. It's like, oh, you just pick the school that wins the most games, and you just can't just.
It's easy to hate, but if you have a different angle, like people love it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
No, there's plenty of reasons to love it, but I just go the other way because always on TV, always getting all the breaks.
As you should. I respect it, man. I respect it.
All right, moving on before we start. Come to blows on that. The first fight on. Yeah.
Have to separate you.
No, I don't feel like either of us are that passionate about the schools to fight about it. All right. Okay. I gotta ask you this again. Everybody probably asks you this. What's Jokic like on the day to day? He seems like the best superstar teammate that like I've ever seen. Is it true?
Absolutely, no question. He is he's the most regular, like funny, normal. Like I wish like every synonym of normal and regular, like lay it out there. Like he's the best. It's like basketball is just like his hobby, and he's not like the best player on the planet, and like he was like the highest paid player, but like, like he just loves his family, like loves horse racing, like just does his job, goes home, spends time with his family, like that's it. And like, he's no nonsense, wants to win, couldn't give a damn about himself, individual accolades, anything like that. And that was obviously made apparent this year with the whole narrative around that. And, I'm just so stoked for him that, he was able to do what we all knew he could do and lead us to a championship, having like the most absurd playoff run I've ever seen. Like, obviously I'm just so fortunate to be able to see it in person, but man, like I love that guy, man. He's the best. And I got to be locker room neighbors with him. Yeah, which was even better as well. So he's hilarious.
Well, you talk a bit about some of the absurd things he was doing in that playoff run. We actually got a mailbag question from Dave, and what was the amazing thing you saw on court in the NBA this year? And it's got to be like one of those Yoke shots
from Yoke, over AD, and like AD just like turns around and he's like looking at Yoke, and Yoke's just like, yeah, this is what they do, brother. It was either that or like Christmas Day, Aaron Gordon dunk over Shamet, because
that was vicious.
That was dirty. But yeah, I mean, Yoke in those playoffs, they reviewed it, brother.
It's bad.
Are you?
I'm a Suns guy, so.
Yeah, well, how inconvenient for you.
All right. Okay, last one. All right, here we go. I Googled Jack White. Image search. I had to go through 150 photos until I got to one of you. You might want to, your PR team, get on him or fire him. We need you. Do you think you'll ever be on top of the White Stripes singer?
No. Unless I don't know, I get
Don't
it in
care,
the media for
brother, I'm
some
guessing.
controversy
Yeah,
or
don't
something,
care,
man.
yeah. Actually, hopefully you won't.
Say something
yeah.
crazy right now.
Yeah, hopefully you won't be ever
Yeah.
be the first image.
No, I'm not concerned about it at all. It's funny, man. Like, I'm not a huge like Twitter user or anything like that, and I would like always get tagged in like these like music posts or like like he's been making like some political statements recently, and like I would get messages like how could you say that, or like the whole like spectrum you could imagine. Like, it's just nuts. But no, like he's like the Jack White, and like I'm very cool with it. Like he's a beast. He's like one of the best guitarists in the world. Like White Stripes, Seven Nation Army, like Stop It. Yeah, he's a beast.
All right, and then to follow up that question, any relation to Jack Black?
No, I wish. He's a legend as well.
Have you ever met
Love
Jack?
Kung Fu Panda.
Have
School
you
of
ever met
Rock.
Jack
Oh,
Black,
stop
Tenacious
it.
D.
Oh, Tenacious D. Yeah, I mean, you could just go on and on about how
Legend.
good he is. Yeah, legend, man.
Shout out Jack Black. if
Shout
you're
out
listening.
Jack Black. Shout out the Jack White. Legends of the game.
Jack, it was amazing to have you come in and have a chat on the podcast. Amazing to have you here at Hoop City while you've been down in Australia. And, you know, we wish you best of luck with the Boomers camp coming up and obviously with your next season at OKC. So thanks so much for coming on the podcast.
Nah, boys, thanks for allowing me to be on the Extra Pass podcast.
Well, you learnt the name.
He knows it. That's a big
You
reveal
know, I was
at
just
the end.
taking the mick out of you before.
You definitely weren't.
Really?
Yeah.
You couldn't tell?
No.
Well, thanks for having me on the Extra Pass, boys. It's been a pleasure.